No.
What do I wish for?
Cheese.
Cheese. A world of cheese.
Yeah.
That's too much cheese.
I love cheese.
Hello.
Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Philip Hawkins.
Yeah. Don't put out those things that I just said.
Hello, welcome to our review of Wish World, the latest Doctor Who episode. I cut out some of our own stuff from a previous review, and he hasn't, as a consequence, he hasn't been in the last few because he got stroppy about it, didn't you? You didn't like that, cut you out. Sad face. We're here to talk about Wish World. We'll do a little bit of spoiler-free stuff, and then we'll talk more spoilers. So, just overall, did you like the episode, Rowan? You liked it. What was your... No, we won't go into favourite parts yet, because you might say spoilers. Did you like it?
Spoilers!
Yeah, I loved it.
Anything you want to say that wouldn't give away any plot details? What did you think of the Rani? Her character? Did you think she was interesting?
She's one of my favourite villains.
Okay. What did you think of the bad guy?
Rani.
In the middle. So I don't really know.
So obviously this is the first part of the season finale, so we kind of got half a story here. I enjoyed it quite a lot, actually. I thought it was an interesting... to see the Doctor be not himself and not in control, and to see him not even really figuring stuff out right to the end. Starting to, but not really. That was kind of interesting.
So I also really liked the episode because, and that meant at the end I was really sad because it's to be continued. I wanted to know what happened.
We have to wait a whole week. This is
I
what
know.
TV was always like for me growing up. Having to wait a week to find out what happens in the next episode.
That sounds terrible. I have to watch it all in one day.
It was worse with things like Star Trek, because then they would end a whole season on a cliffhanger and you'd have to wait like 8 months to find out what happened next. So, think yourselves lucky in this streaming world.
You're not lucky.
I like it was an interesting world that they created with the very backwards sort of socially world, which absolutely makes sense coming from Conrad's imagination.
Where are you
Rowan's
going?
Okay, let's get on to spoilers. Okay, let's get on to favourite and least favourite bits. What was your favourite bit?
My favourite bit was when they were all sinking.
Sinking?
Into the underground.
Oh, into the underverse where the world is disintegrating. Okay, what did you like it because of the visuals? It looked good.
It looked pretty.
Did look very good. Rowan, do you want to come back and say what your favourite bit was? What was your favourite bit?
My favourite bit, at the end when the Doctor was falling.
Because that was scary, or because
it was funny.
It was exciting or funny? What did you like about it?
It's fun.
It's fun. What didn't you like? Was there anything you didn't like?
There's something I thought that happened when Ruby and the other two people were on the ground. Forgot their names. When they looked up, they looked like something was falling on top of them, and I thought it was the Doctor. Like the
I
thing the
see.
Doctor was
Yes,
on, because
yes.
the bottom kind of looked like that.
Yeah, no, it was
But it
Union
was
Tower.
not.
Yeah. Was there any bits you didn't like? Anything about the episode you didn't like?
I didn't really understand what was the point of going through that little thing where the Doctor and Belinda entered, and then when Belinda got kicked
I
out.
think the area within that is protected from the world falling apart, but outside of it isn't. So as soon as she was pushed back out through the barrier, she disappeared.
Oh, yes, she did.
Yeah.
I
She
was
wasn't
just really
protected anymore.
confused, and that's why I didn't like it that much, because I didn't understand it, really.
I want to do my not favourite.
Go on then.
When Ruby and... No, the one... When Belinda and the Doctor was captured.
You didn't like that? Because you didn't want them to be captured?
No.
No.
Like, why did Belinda, tell on the Doctor?
Well, that was part of the whole kind of world that Conrad had
but
created.
But then I was also confused why Belinda got caught.
Because she had also been expressing doubts.
How do they know that, though?
Well, I think her mum might have dubbed her in. Or no, she
No, it
said...
wasn't
No,
her mum.
Mrs. Flood said something like... only somebody who was expressing doubts themselves could have noticed him expressing doubts, or something like that.
I'm going to die.
Okay, bye-bye.
But then what was the point? How would the police find out if no one called?
I don't know.
It's so confusing.
I like the whole kind of world that Conrad created. It was an interesting... They didn't go into it in any major depth or anything. It was kind of like, okay, we'll show you some surface elements of a kind of socially backward world. A world where, they refer to Kate not having to work anymore if she marries Ibrahim. Because, in Conrad's mind, the perfect world is harkening back to a sort of sexist world where, women stayed at home and men worked. And then also the fact that they refer to Belinda chatting with her mum and her aunts, were chatting about and talking about how Poppy will grow up and be a wife one day, as if that's like the peak of her life. And what else was there? Oh, when the doctor calls Ibrahim a beautiful man, and then like the panic on both of their faces, that when Ibrahim is like, what did you say? You're a man. That doesn't make any sense, because of course in Conrad's mind that like the perfect world involves just very heteronormative men and women, and that's it, and in relationships, and that's it. And then the panic on the doctor's face was brilliant, that like he realized he slipped up and sort of panicking that he might get found out, and the doubt police will come and get him.
Doubty.
That was all very interesting, and the whole dobbing your friends in and family in to the police is part of that. It kind of reflects those kind of fascist worlds where you're so scared of They create an environment where you're so scared of getting in trouble yourself that you dob other people in to try and protect yourself. And that kind of thing has happened in real life, in history, with the Nazis and stuff. People were dobbing their own neighbours and stuff in to the Gestapo and things, and that happens unfortunately in fascist environments, which this obviously is. But it is all very like... They don't delve into it massively. They have these little moments to try and kind of show you that this is the kind of world that Conrad has created. And then they kind of leave it at that. They don't explore it in any massive depth. But there isn't really time for it either, so that's fair enough. I think it was probably about the right amount to... the Shirley stuff with the disabled stuff also kind of plays into that, because Conrad doesn't see disabled people. To him, they're not important. They should just be ignored.
Which is so rude.
Exactly. And so, in this world, they are ignored by everyone, because that is the world he has created. But somehow they, due to the magic of this place, they have everything they need, kind of, in terms of food and medicine. They don't get ill or anything. She has the high-tech wheelchair still, despite having no money, but they live on an encampment and everybody ignores them. So there were those kind of like social commentary aspects, which were interesting, but only on a kind of surface level, but I think that's fine for this episode. And then the kind of main plot is obviously the discovering what's going on, and yeah, I thought it was an interesting episode. I thought it was a good episode. I'm slightly worried because last year I'd say The Legend of Ruby Sunday was a good episode, and then the following episode let it down massively. So I'm still a little bit worried about what'll happen next episode.
I just wanted to say, at the start, when Belinda and the doctor woke up, I was like, what is happening? At first I thought they were in a dream, because that's just weird. Like, out of everyone, why did they put those two together? Like, really?
There are people out there that ship Belinda and the Doctor who want them to be a couple. So, hey, they got their wish, however briefly. And, it was kind of... I like this kind of... It was very surreal throughout the whole episode. And I think I mentioned earlier that I like the fact that they kind of... didn't let the Doctor catch on too quickly. And it was really only the end of the episode. He kind of notices things here and there. But most of the episode, the Doctor is really out of it and out of his depth, and he's not in control, which we're so used to the Doctor seeing, so I quite liked that.
I love the thing where if you had a doubt, then like a glass or a mug would break and they'd say it would slip, but actually at a part in the episode we find it just falls through the table.
Yeah,
and that's where that dude comes in. What's his name?
Rogue. He
comes on the television and he's talking to the Doctor and he's like, tables don't do that. And that's when the Doctor starts to like think more clearly about everything. And that's when we find out that it just falls through the table.
Yeah, I'm glad they brought Rogue back to some degree. I don't know if he'll be showing up next episode as well, but
I don't even remember him.
You don't remember him from the Bridgerton style episode last season. Yeah, because he's the guy that the Doctor kind of had a crush on in that episode.
He had a crush on him.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And then they kind of flirted a bit. Originally was because he was trying to capture the Doctor, thinking that the Doctor was one of the bird people that he had been hired to capture. And he sacrificed himself at the end and ended up getting sent to some kind of other dimension, which he's now communicating from some kind of very hellish looking dimension and bleeding through the information to help the Doctor. Maybe he'll show up next episode. It'd be nice to, resolve that, because if Ncuti does leave at the end of this season, it'd be weird to leave that thread hanging without resolving the rogue stuff. So maybe he'll slip through the same cracks in dimensions that Omega's going to slip through. Oh yeah, Omega's coming back. Another Time Lord who, unfortunately, I don't think I do have a time to do a Who is Omega video like I did Who is the Rani video this week. I don't have time this week. I've got to learn lines for a play. But, yeah, Omega's back. He's a Time Lord. He created time travel for the Time Lord. So when they say in this, he's the first Time Lord, I was like, okay, from one perspective, he kind of is. He didn't, like, the Doctor and Tech Tayun experimenting on the Doctor as the Timeless Child is how how Time Lords have regeneration. But then Omega is how they have time travel. He is the engineer that created time travel, so he's the first Time Lord in that sense. Anyway, he was in a few classic Doctor series episodes. Do I have them? 3 Doctors somewhere on there. So the 3 Doctors, and I think it was Arc of Infinity. Is that what the other one he's in? I don't think I've seen the second one he's in. But so he's a Time Lord who has been trapped in another dimension forever. So he's coming back.
Ever and ever.
And that was heavily rumoured. And you know what? I'm maybe cramming in both the Rani and him will be too much next episode. And that's something I'm slightly worried about. But I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. I don't instantly think bringing Omega back is a bad thing. I think that's quite a interesting thing to do. I'm just unsure about having the Rani and Omega and whatever else gets added to next episode and they overstuff it with not enough time to maybe do it properly. That's what I'm slightly worried about.
I don't think we've actually talked about how they got to do the wish.
Oh, the baby.
Yeah,
yes,
the
despite
baby.
our whole opening skit with
Yes.
Rowan there. So the Rani steals the baby from
Somebody.
1800s Bulgaria, was it?
And he's like magical or something.
Yeah, which is linked back to the Doctor letting gods and the Pantheon in with his salt thing a few years ago, and apparently that meant that the 7th child of a 7th child of a 7th child, which this baby has these wish powers and is the god of wishes.
And
So-
as you saw at the start, the Rani kidnaps the baby and uses it and probably gives it to Conrad to create this whole new world.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. I was wondering where the baby was going to come in. In terms of things I didn't like, it wasn't. I mean, overall, I think I like this episode mostly. There wasn't any bits where I was bored. There were little bits like one thing I've got down as bad is like, did you really have to make the storybook look like a Harry Potter storybook when Conrad's reading the book? Russell, come on, don't involve Harry Potter in Doctor Who.
Collide.
For various reasons, that the person that writes the Harry Potter books is not a nice person. Don't give her any extra publicity.
Don't I have the Harry Potter books?
You sold them.
Oh yeah, I used to have them.
You used to have them, but you sold them.
Wait, did I sell all of them?
I think so.
I don't remember that.
The boot sale. Anyway, so yeah, I was a little bit disappointed there, but other than that, I kind of liked it. It's part 1 of a part 2, so it kind of might, in retrospect, not be as good based on the conclusion, but we'll see next week. So yeah, we'll be back for next week's review. Do check out some of my other season 2 videos in the meantime. Sorry this has been a bit rambly. I'm ill. I didn't make many notes. You didn't make any notes. So it's been a
No.
bit more... Rowan was causing chaos at the beginning, so it's a bit more rambly than usual. But thanks for watching, and we'll be back next time. Goodbye.
Like and subscribe.